The Assassin's Creed movie came out on December 21st, 2016, and was anticipated to be the movie that breaks the video game curse. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I really did like the movie, seeing it twice myself and with my brother. When watching and reading the reviews, I could point out some things that people seem to complain about. Now, this is not a review for the movie, this is more just like an update on what's going on, and I'm just kind of talking about the aftermath of the movie because it'd be kind of too late for a review. But just putting that aside, this will have spoilers, so if you didn't see the movie yet, or if you just don't care, then continue watching, but if not, you are warned. So 1, this is what I've seen all over, was if you're not a fan of the series, or if you're just new to the series, that you won't understand the movie. And no, I think that's a crap theory of saying that, because Assassin's Creed is one of those series that people always loves to nitpick about because they're mad that they couldn't direct the movie themselves or make the games themselves. I agree that the script isn't perfect, but the fight scenes and the cinematography made up for it. And I'm not saying that's like an excuse for having a bad script, but I do think that the cinematography and the fight scenes and just the locations and the fact that Michael Fassbender, and I'm sorry I don't know the name, the actor for Maria, did like 95% of the stunts, and all of it was just really real, really immersed me into it, and it just really just sold me on the fact that they were in Spain. So I think it's bullcrap that people say that if you're not a fan of the series or if you're new to it that you won't understand, because you definitely will. Another thing is that I've seen people wondering about the apple, like the apple of Eden that was in the movie, and how they reference it, how Sofia references it as I wish or I hope that the apple is real whenever Abstergo has had apples before. I think she is coming from a scientific standpoint because they want, or from Sofia's point of view, they want to use this apple as a cure for violence. So she's saying that in a way as like, oh, I hope it's real, as I hope my dream is real. Kind of like a kicking off points. We find the apple, we find the cure to violence, or something along those lines. And then to jump off of that, there are tons of different apples. So yeah, in this movie it had like a bluish hue, like it kind of glowed blue. But yeah, like Altair's, Ezio's, they were golden and about the same size. They were a little bit bigger than the movies, but Arno's from Dead Kings DLC was about the size of the movies, and that was able to pop into the head of Saint Denis. And I wouldn't doubt it if there are more heads that create different illusions, like the head of Saint Denis created an illusion of bats, and it kind of drove the person insane. And then with Altair's apple, it was able to go, much like Ezio's, into a staff. So they each have different capabilities, and this is just one of the many that are out there, because who knows how many are out there. And some people might not understand the other assassins' influence, or why they were even in the movie. The other assassins were Mousa, Nathan, and Lynn. Then there was a cut one named Laura, but she's cut, so I don't exactly know if she's considered canon or not. I'm just gonna act like she's not, because there's not really much known about her. But back on topic, when Mousa introduced himself, he warned Callum of the importance of the apple, followed by Nathan and Lynn's verbal warning, or excuse me, just Nathan, his verbal warning. Then Amir and Lynn gave him determined looks, because they all knew what was going on, and they were trying to sway Callum to making the right decision. Later, Nathan actually tried to kill Callum to make it so Abstergo would be unable to use his DNA to find the apple. And this is because Nathan knows traitors all too well, but I will get back to that later. Some say it was a weird coincidence when the prison break happened to start during Callum's final regression, Well, yeah, it kind of was, but Assassin's Creed is kind of not built on the miracles, but it kind of lives up to those anticipating moments, like the big climb the mountain, reach the top, see the entire valley kind of view. So they break out, and then boom, Callum's with them. So it's kind of like you meet on top of the mountain, you get to see the entire valley, and then all the way down is just a fun ride. Well, that's what happened in the movie, at least from my perspective. By this time, they had hoped Cal would come around to protecting the Creed, which some may be confused as to why all of a sudden he is a devoted assassin. Well, after Cal had watched his mother die and heard why she died whenever his father had met him in the prison and told him, he was very confused as to why she actually had killed herself, and he didn't even know he believed his father about that. But during the last regression, Aguilar's love, Maria, is killed, and he watches the life slip out of her. And Maria died trying to protect the apple, and she was willing to die for the Creed. And because Cal was playing as Aguilar, he was able to feel what Aguilar was feeling, and he felt the love for Maria, much like he felt the love for his mother. But this time, he wasn't so confused, because Maria was actually willing to die for the Creed. Whether or not Aguilar wanted her to die or not, she died for the Creed. So he brings this back this idea to his mother. His mother died for the Creed. She would have died for the Creed. She did die for the Creed. She would have died in any other way necessary to protect the Creed, much like Maria did. So he gets this idea in his head, and he pairs those two together, and how he loved Maria and how he loved his mother. So then as the regression ends, then you get before it ends actually, you meet Christopher Columbus, and he kind of gives a little wink, and he says that he's a friend of the Creed. Little side note, just earlier in that year in 1492, Ezio actually saved his life. So yeah, that is actually really cool that he basically says, yeah, your Italian Brotherhood buddy saved my life. But that's just a little funny Easter egg that he referenced the Creed before. But anyway, when the final regression ends, the arm on the Animus kind of breaks, and the chip in his head is still plugged in. So due to a unknown reason, Cal seemed to connect with all these other assassins, which I assume to be his ancestors, because even on the wall in the Abstergo room, they had from 1750 to present day of Caleb's ancestors. So there are a lot of them, and his lineage is filled with assassins. So it wouldn't really surprise me that those could be his ancestors. But as they spun around, you could clearly see, and I thought I was going crazy when I saw this, but you could clearly see Arno Dorian. And I know for a fact it was, because when I first saw it, I looked at that shirt and the coat, and I remember making the cosplay in the painstaking hours, sitting there hand sewing. But that's beside the point. But still, it was amazing to see Arno, because I know for a fact that's him. They didn't give him an ancestor, so they very well could have said, okay, let's make Cal his ancestor, which I actually really like that idea, because you can even see that if you get a good look, it really looks like Michael Fassbender is playing Arno, much like Michael Fassbender played Callum and Aguilar. So it looks like he's playing Arno because Arno is his ancestor, which I really like the idea behind that theory, and I really hope it gets expanded upon, because I'm one of the big fans of Unity. I didn't see the hubbub about hating it. It seemed kind of like everyone is, oh, jump on the hype train, but I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and Arno is a really cool character, so it's so cool to see and to be hinted at that Cal is related to him. So now when I go back and play Unity, it just gives this whole sense of like connection and how everything comes together between Aguilar and Arno. It then shows his mother who steps up to Cal and initiates him into the assassins by reciting the creed. And then his father appears, and his father may have used the same animus, so maybe he was like quote unquote there, kind of like how Clay Kazmierzak was there with Desmond in the same animus, kind of like how Clay was stuck inside of it. But even though it was the younger version of Callum's dad, I'm not entirely sure, because then it doesn't really make any sense how his mother was there. I have a feeling it was something to do with his DNA connecting with his father's, who may have also used the animus. So, I don't know, that's kind of up in the air right now. But then there's this girl assassin that the camera focuses on, and it looks a lot like Sofia. And actually, I had to do a couple double takes. Like when I watched the movie a second time, I was making sure to wait for that scene because it looks a lot like Sofia, and I concluded it does. It looks a lot like Sofia. And I was wondering, if these are Callum's ancestors, why is Sofia with them? Or Sofia's look-alike? And Sofia even looked at her like she was looking in a mirror. Sofia knew something was up with her. So is there a chance that Sofia is somehow related to Callum? Who knows? That's just another plot to go by. And it would also make Sofia poop her pants if she realized that she's related to an assassin. So there's another plot that can be built upon in a sequel or a book or something. Last thing I have to say about this ancestor that looks like Sofia is that it looks like on her hood, right there, is the Ottoman assassin symbol. And if you take your time, look at it a little bit, you might be able to agree with me. If you don't, what time period do you think she is from? I'd love to hear. Alright guys, that's it for the first part of this discussion. I'm going to be uploading the second part very soon, so be on the lookout for that, and I will see you in the next video.